is at the beginning of July, because obviously end of June is halfway through the year. So a couple days late, but yeah, these books will be from the books that I've read between July and June, or like within those months, okay? So the specific creator that I saw do this, her name is Katie on BookTok, and so I'm going to be taking the questions that she used in her TikTok to do them here. I'm sure people do this on YouTube as well, but yeah, I was seeing it there, and I wanted to jump on before, you know, it was too late in the year to call it halfway through. So, the first question is, what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year? Or the best book that you've read this year so far? And this one was a little tricky, but I had to go for a book that I read last month in June, and that is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. So this is the 5th book in the Magnolia Parks / Daisy Hates series universe. I'm like 99.9% sure that this is the last book in Magnolia's story, and that there will be one more in the Daisy Hates story. But this book, oh man, it had it all. It had all the feels. I rated it 5-star, maybe more. It's pretty chunky for like a contemporary romance, but these books are just so much more than romance. It's so like toxic and gossipy and drama, and just like never a dull moment. Just so good. And the reason I actually read this whole series this year, but the reason I chose this one is it was just so much deeper. Like, you got so deep with Magnolia and their relationship, and it was so sad as well. Just, yeah, I can't even talk. It made me emotional. It was just such an amazing end to their story. Like, everything kind of wrapped up. You got to know Magnolia so much better in this. I did talk about this in my last reading wrap up, but yeah, it just so many feels. Yeah. So I just felt like it was a perfect ending to this beautiful love story. Well, toxic love story, but also the book itself is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, just perfect mix of emotional drama, love, family, like questioning, and just, yeah, I just loved it. I loved it a lot. And the second question is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? So sequel, I read a few kind of series this year. So I'm gonna say I actually kind of have two for this one. The first one is The Housemaid's Secret, which is the second book in the Housemaid Right Now trilogy by Frida McFadden. The second book was so freaking good. I don't have it in person, but oh my god, it's a psychological thriller. I ate it up. It was better than the first one. But the one I have physically that I read this year is Iron Flame. This is the second book to Fourth Wing. So this is like high romantasy, dragons, ships, and then with her dragons, I just looked forward to sitting down with this book, even if there was a chapter where not much was happening. I just truly enjoyed my time in this universe, you know. Yeah, so I think I rated that one 5 stars. I loved it, loved it, loved it. By Rebecca Yarros. Next question is, what is a new release that you want to get to? So I chose, there's actually got a couple that I could have picked for this one. So, but the one I picked physically is one I got, in March. Okay, so it's not like super duper new, but it's kind of all over the place right now. Everyone is reading it. It's called A Fate Inked in Blood, written by Danielle L. Jensen. This is like a Norse god fantasy, which is like different than you normally see, and I'm really excited to see how the author kind of portrays that. And I've heard nothing but good things about this. The back says, her fate is inked in her blood, it's carved in her bones, this power is Freya's destiny. I love fantasy. I love when like the kind of what am I trying to say, when the mythology of different cultures is turned into a book. So it's, yeah. Oh, this is book 1 of the Saga of the Unfated, so no idea when the second one will come out, but very excited for that one. I am also very excited to get to When the Moon Hatched, which is a chonker of a new fantasy, also the first in a series, so that one I'm super duper pumped about. So the next question is your most anticipated sequel that isn't out yet. Okay, so I kind of have a few options for this. These are all books that I have pre-ordered on Amazon and are coming out later this year or early next year. So the first one is Sunrise on the Reaping. That was called, yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, the author of The Hunger Games and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I was so not expecting her to release another book, but yeah, when I saw this released or announced, I pre-ordered it immediately. So I have up on the screen, there's not a official cover for it yet. This is just what we have. Yeah, it's a new Hunger Games novel. This one, I think this book is another prequel, but about Haymitch's Hunger Games, which I'm so excited, so excited. At this point, she just needs to write a book about every single year of the games. You know, we can have 75 plus books. I will read them all. I will read them all. Next is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. I'm pretty sure this one comes out around Halloween. It's the 3rd book in a series. I read the first 2. I have the first 2 downstairs. When I first got the first one, I thought it was like a one-off, and I was sad because I really liked the characters. It's like a witchy romance. It's like very lighthearted, very cute, kind of gives like Halloween Town vibes. And then I found out that there was a sequel about her best friend, so I got that and loved it. And then I realized and saw that there's a 3rd one coming out. So I've pre-ordered that and I'm very excited for it. I'll definitely be reading it at Halloween time. And then finally, we're going back to Rebecca Yarros. The 3rd book in the 4th Wing series is coming out early next year. Onyx Storm, whose cover was recently released. I have up for you the special edition hardcover. Yeah, I've pre-ordered both the normal one and this special edition one, because obviously, but I don't think I have to say much about that one. I already showed you that Iron Wing was my favorite sequel that I read so far this year, and I cannot wait to jump back into that universe. Alright, I know that was 3, but I don't care. Next question is my biggest disappointment so far this year. So this one, I haven't like hated any of the books that I've read so far, but this one was a bit of a disappointment only because one of my favorite books of all time was written by this author, and that book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is only the second book of hers that I've read. It's Gallant. It was I loved the concept of this book, extremely well written. Like, her writing is just impeccable. She writes like literary fiction, like amazing writing, but it's fantasy. So yeah, I loved the storyline, the writing, the vibes. It gave very Coraline vibes, and I'm obsessed with Coraline. What disappointed me was that it very much felt like a children's book. Like, I could see this being like, you know, like technically written for children. Like, it was just very simple, very easy read, like almost too easy. And yeah, because she was a child, like the main character is a child, and that just disappointed me a little bit, because The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is not that way. But yeah, that was it. It just kind of fell flat for me, which obviously, Addie LaRue being one of my favorite books, I had high expectations. So yeah, I still enjoy it. It's beautiful. Okay, next question we have is my biggest surprise. So this one is a romance book. If you know me, I may or may not know that I'm not the biggest, like, strictly romance girly, like contemporary romance. It's really hard for me to love a romance, like romantasy. I'll eat it up all day long. And I had already read 2 Ali Hazelwood books before getting to this one, but there's something about this. When did I read this? Like April, maybe. That's The Love Hypothesis. The Love Hypothesis. This was like one of her first novels, and I think, well, yeah, this was the biggest surprise because, again, like romance books are not my favorite, so I never go into them expecting to be like blown away and in love with them. I more read them as kind of palate cleansers, but I rated this one a 5-star, and I've never done that before with a romance. I loved the main character. I said this in my wrap-up when I talked about this book, but I just related a lot to her, like physically, mentally. I'm not a woman in STEM, that's our biggest difference, but I don't know, I just like, I felt myself in her, and it was just like, it was a romantic comedy, so she's just very quirky. The relationship was just awesome. I don't know, this one got me, and after reading it, I found myself in my mind going back to it and thinking about it a lot. So yes. Okay, next question is newest favorite author. So this one, I have a couple. The first new favorite author, first I thought this one was going to be hard, but then I realized that I read all of Magnolia Parks this year, so that makes Jessa Hastings the author series. One of my favorite new authors. I have another one of hers called Never that I want to get to. I haven't heard as many good things about that one, which I think is a fantasy, so it'll be interesting. Another one of my new favorite authors is Stephanie Garber, the author of the Caraval trilogy and the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which I need to get to like ASAP, because as much as I loved the Caraval trilogy, apparently Once Upon a Broken Heart is just like up here even compared to this. So I cannot wait to continue to see what she does, because her like fairy tale whimsy vibes are just so up my alley. Okay. Good. Got a good book stack going here. Newest fictional crush. God, so this one, I haven't really thought about. I honestly haven't really thought about like that much. I don't really like get book crushes. Like, I love the men in books, but like I don't really crush on them myself, if that makes sense. Like, I'm very like observing, and like I love them for the main character, but I don't want them myself, if that makes sense. But with that said, I do love Julian. Oh my god, this is so funny. Julian in Caraval and Julian in the Magnolia Parks universe. Like, you could just tell both Julians when they fall, like they fall hard, and they will do anything for the woman that they love. And just the way they think, like when you're in their POV, the way they talk about the woman they love, it's just, it's beautiful. So yeah, I will say thems. Next, new favorite character. Oh shoot. Yeah, again, didn't really think too much about this one. Oh god, I might have to go back to Magnolia Parks and say Magnolia, as annoying as she can be sometimes, she's also really funny, like so blunt and straight to the point, and just things that come out of her mouth, you're like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, shut up. But it's really funny. So yeah, I might have to say Magnolia. Yeah. Okay, next, a book that made you cry. This one is easy, hands down. One book over all of them. I don't even know if any other book has made me cry yet this year, but I need to somehow. Oh no, I think either Fourth Wing or Iron Flame. I think I may have teared up a little bit. I had to reach to the bottom of my stack for this one. We are going back to Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Y'all, I said this in my wrap up, but 40 pages in, bawling, tears flowing everywhere. Oh my god, I don't think a book has ever made me cry so hard as this book. I don't want to give anything away, but it was not relatable in the sense that this has happened to me, because oh my god, it better not, but yeah, I don't know how to say this without ruining things, so I'm just gonna not, but slightly relatable, which is what made me cry even harder. Yeah, just all the feels in this book, I swear to god. But then later on there were some happy tears, so just literally all the feels. Yeah, this, oh my god, it made me cry so freaking hard. But you know what, I purposefully read a book that I know is going to make me cry or that is really sad. So yeah, I didn't know that book was going to make me cry, but so good. So I don't want to say it was necessary, but like I wasn't not going to read it, you know? Alright, next question we have is a book that made you happy. And this one's going to be easy. I can honestly say the same thing, like the same Magnolia Parks book, as well as Caraval, especially in the first one. Just the whimsical vibes, whimsy, and like that feeling just makes me really, really happy. And also Iron Flame, being back in that world, it was so nice to sit down on the couch with that book and just get lost in it, get lost, like away from my life. Also made me happy, so happy in different ways. Next question, the most beautiful book you've bought this year. Now this was a tough one, as I'm part of, well, some just like regular books I've bought are extremely beautiful, but I'm a subscriber to Illumigrate and their books are all beautiful. So I struggled to pick one, but I landed on this one, which is To Cage a God. Like, everything about this, the colors, the silver, written by Elizabeth May, so pretty, and there's like a dragon or a serpent of some kind on the back there, just gorgeous. And then the sprayed edges, what? It's like a stained glass window. Oh, I love everything about this. And then it gets even better because you have your end papers, that gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And then it keeps getting better with the Under the Dust jacket. Like, we change vibes. What? Oh, it's so shiny. Oh my god, it's so, it's beautiful. So shiny. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So yeah, I think you can see why I chose this one as the most beautiful. But honestly, every single special edition I have is gorgeous. This one just stands out to me a little bit more. Alright, a few more questions. Actually, one more question. A book you need to get. Oh, sorry. The pictures I'm looking at, I took screenshots of all of the questions, and they are absolutely tiny. So a book you need to get to by the end of the year. Honestly, I would say every book, if I could, every single one. But that's not possible. So I'm gonna say one specific series that, like, I have to get to this year. Otherwise I will hate myself. That is the Throne of Glass series. This should come as no surprise. I'm reading the third Crescent City book by Sarah J. Maas currently. That came out in January, and once I'm done that, we are on to Throne of Glass. So the goal is next month, either August or September, because I might want to throw in a couple like other fantasy books before I get to this one, just because this is such a long series. It is 8 books and they only get fatter and fatter and fatter. Like the last one's like this big, so it's pretty big. So this is high fantasy YA. Everyone and their mother has read this, and every single one is obsessed with it. A lot of gosh, looking forward to this. I love YA and dragons, and it just sounds like I'm going to love it. But I also don't want to start it because then it's going to be over, you know. Then I'll have read it. So, but no, we will get to that soon. Okay, that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. And thank you for Katie on TikTok for posting that video, so I could take all the questions from it. We will do something like this at the end of the year or the start of next year for, you know, the whole of 2024, and see what has changed after 6 more months of books and reading. But yeah, that was a fun little